Well, the time is finally upon us. The girls in green will be kickstarting their World Cup campaign tomorrow morning against Australia, the hosts. You couldn't ask for a much more difficult start than that. But if there's one thing we know these girls can do, it's overturn the odds. We saw that in the qualifying campaign. We saw that they went to Scotland and they qualified there at Hampden Park. An amazing achievement and the first ever time Ireland's ever qualified for the Women's World Cup. It's been a long time since the men have done it, and it looks like it'll be a long time till they will do it in the future as well. Hopefully not, but it's a fantastic achievement and the whole country is absolutely buzzing for it to get kick-started tomorrow morning. Of course, it was Amber Barrett who got the decisive goal in Scotland on that night, and it was an amazing night, an amazing achievement. The celebrations were so good to see. It's really amazing for Ireland to get to a World Cup. It's such a big deal. The whole country was buzzing that night, and they're absolutely buzzing now as the campaign will be getting underway. Of course, a lot of build-up has been surrounding Ireland manager Vera Pauw. Obviously, there has been some accusations and stuff thrown her way from her previous spells in America, I believe it was. And yeah, I think it's such a shame that the highlight isn't on the girls, the players, and what their huge achievement and talking about the build up to the World Cup and talking about all this, whereas a lot of the focus has of course been on this kind of negative stuff. And I know journalists have a certain job to do. They have to report on certain matters and stuff, and that is important of course, but it is a shame because it is taking away the spotlight from what matters most, and that's these girls' outstanding achievement to get to where they are now. And speaking of that, I'm not gonna be going into that at all in this video. I'm going to be focusing on the football side of things as it should be. And of course Ireland have been drawn into the group of death. Of course, we have the hosts Australia, who are one of the best sides in the world. There's some world-class players in their team, and obviously being the hosts of the World Cup, it obviously gives you an advantage. Home advantage is huge, and they'll be used to the climates, etc. as well. So it's going to be very tough for any team to play Australia in this tournament, and you'd imagine they will fancy their chances to go deep into the knockout stages. We of course have Nigeria as well, who are seen as probably being the best women's team in Africa, so of course that's a very difficult draw as well. And then we have the Canadians, who I believe won the most recent women's football Olympics, and so yeah, it's a really tough group. No easy games whatsoever. Of course, the match is tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. and it is being played in a sold out 80,000 seater stadium, by far the biggest attendance I'd say any of these girls have ever played in. So it's going to be a case of, will the occasion get to some of them? Like, there's no to be no one who could blame them if it could, because I think anyone going into that kind of atmosphere, especially against the hosts as well, it'll be mainly Australians in the crowd. It's going to be a really intimidating atmosphere. Can the girls hack that? Can they kind of keep themselves composed? It's going to be really important if they want to start off the World Cup campaign with a positive result, keeping that composure, being okay. Kind of, I think the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, just easing themselves into the game and kind of keeping it neat and tidy and no mistakes at the back, keeping in the game will be so important to try and achieve getting out of this group. I think that first 20 minutes is going to tell us a lot in terms of how this campaign is going to go. But 80,000 fans in the crowd, it's so exciting for them as well, and you need to look at that as a positive thing rather than something to be kind of overawed by. I know it's sometimes you can't really control it, sometimes it's so daunting, that experience, but it's going to be a fantastic one for them and one they'll cherish forever, no matter the result really. Speaking of which as well, kind of on that matter of that kind of easing into the game and keeping it tight at the back, Vera Pauw does opt for a kind of conserved style of play. We've kind of opted for that kind of 5 the back, 4 midfield, and then a lone striker as their kind of chosen formation. So you'd be very surprised if she did go for anything different, especially given the magnitude of the game and the opposition. So yeah, it's going to be one of those games where we will have a low block, you'd imagine, kind of soaking up a bit of pressure and trying to hit the Aussies on the counter attack. We do have players that can cause some problems on the break, of course we do, but keeping out a lot of these Aussie players is going to be very difficult. Of course, a big talking point for us has been around Denise O'Sullivan in the last couple of days. She is going to be one of our key players, one of the best players in the squad, and she is a key player for Ireland. And of course, we all kind of saw what happened in that behind closed doors friendly, which is mental. That I don't understand why that was let to happen so close to the tournament. I know we need to kind of keep things fresh and keep the legs ticking over, but behind closed doors, no media allowed in, and a few days out from the tournament, it seemed like a recipe for disaster. And of course we all did see what transpired there 20 minutes in, and the Irish girls walked off the pitch, rightfully so as well in my opinion. I think it was a correct decision. You can't risk any further injuries in a nothing game ahead of a massive tournament like this. You can't be risking things like that. And of course we did unfortunately see Denise O'Sullivan take a bad knock in a really bad challenge on her, and thankfully it looks like the scans and stuff have been relatively clear, and it remains to be seen whether she will feature in the first game. Kind of fingers crossed situation where you hope that she has kind of overcome the worst of it now, and it's kind of just a bad kind of bruise or something like that. Like, it's kind of obviously a bad knock, but you'd hope it's kind of something that she can play through, because she will be so key to everything good that Ireland do with this tournament. Of course, we have Katie McCabe as well, our captain. I think she's captain of the Arsenal women's team as well. One of the probably the best player in the team that we have her alongside Denise O'Sullivan, probably our two strongest players. And yeah, she's going to be so crucial. Just her experience, her guidance, keeping everything calm and composed. It's going to be so important that she kind of leads the team. Plenty of communication and that organisational skills that she has as well. That's going to be so integral, especially in this opening fixture. Of course, Australia, as I said, they are probably one of, maybe not the absolute favourites for the tournament, but expected to go very deep. I think they're in the top 10 rankings as well, give or take, I think, and that's not for no reason as well. Their striker Sam Kerr, Chelsea forward, and she is fantastic. She's a world-class striker. She's been elite for Australia for a long time, and she's the kind of poster girl for the tournament, really. And yeah, just a couple of stats on her. She's over 60 goals for her country, and her first 50 came in just over 100 international games. So 1 and 2 at international level pretty much is absolutely insane. It's fantastic return on international scale. So yeah, she's definitely someone that's going to be, you need to keep an eye out on her. Obviously that 5 at the back is going to be kind of aimed to nullify her threat, keeping those 3 centre backs close and tight to her at all times and not giving her any space to manoeuvre. Going to be so crucial. But playing against world-class players, it's just very difficult to manage sometimes, but it is something that the Irish players should relish. And playing against these players, that's what you go to the World Cup for, to play against the best in front of the whole world. That's what you go to these tournaments for. That's what she's relishing, and yeah, it's a huge opportunity for them to really make a mark. But yeah, how do I think Ireland are going to get on in the group? It's going to be very difficult, of course. As I mentioned, the teams in the group, it's the group of death for a reason. It's going to be extremely difficult to get out of. You'd like to think we can maybe nick a point against Australia, and maybe the pressure of opening it in front of their home crowd could get to the Aussies as well, and they could be sloppy, make a couple of mistakes. Staycation could of course get to them. It's massive for them as well, so it's going to be a level playing field maybe in that regard. So I'm hoping that the Irish can kind of nick a point there. You'd be looking at maybe trying to beat Nigeria and then Canada as well. You go on to play to win. Of course, we're going to be kind of, as I mentioned, that counter-attacking style could suit us as well. We are a threat on the counter-attack, so yeah, it is going to be very difficult. Of course, we're probably favourites to come bottom of the group, but you've seen in World Cups previously, like, you just never ever know what's going to happen. You can never write off anyone, especially the Irish. That's what I always say. So I'm going to predict we come second in the group, behind Australia, I believe, and I think we will we'll reconvene in the knockout stage, let's just say that, and we'll see who we get and we go from there. But yeah, guys, been an absolute pleasure previewing the World Cup in Australia. Come on, you girls in green, an absolutely massive day tomorrow. Make sure to tune in and get behind the girls at 11 a.m. and make sure to get out on social, support them. Everything you can do to get behind them. It's so good to see everyone kind of getting behind the girls and proper supporting them as well. Big shout out to Irish Football Fan TV. He's gone over there, which is great to see as well. He's going to be promoting that all the content over there, so make sure to head over to Paul's channel to have a look and stay up to date. I'd say he'll be doing interviews, he'll be doing all sorts over there, so class to see him out there. Make sure to go over to his socials, and he'll have loads of bits and pieces going on over there as well. But yeah, so excited for tomorrow morning. Can't wait to get kick started now. Come on, you girls in green, let's go.